are you able to go back to work, you think?
Oh shoot, Rich, I'm having a hard time hearing.
We'll get the microphones on here too.
When are you able to go back to work, do you think?
That still didn't come through. I don't know.
Here, I thought
It worked earlier on the mic.
Yeah.
I think if you asked about work, I can go back tomorrow.
That question. She's afraid
Are you going to go back tomorrow?
directors might be listening.
I am. Parker, unfortunately, our household was blessed with 3 illnesses at the same time. So the girls got a stomach bug, I had COVID, and Parker has had allergies, which turned into an asthma attack, which has turned into pneumonia.
Oh my.
I've got to take him into a specialist tomorrow morning, but hopefully after that, on to work.
Yeah. That many illnesses is not.
Just one problem at a time.
No.
No. We like to rack and stack them whenever possible.
Okay. We're on the air.
Okay.
Makes you stronger.
5:30. I think we're ready to start.
Yep. We good?
Tell you what, why don't we go ahead? It's not on the agenda. Why don't we start with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay.
We've got a flag back here.
Yep.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All the board members are in attendance at this special school board meeting on Tuesday the 16th. Member and President Nikki Wielden is attending virtually because of illness. The rest of us are here in person. We do have a quorum for the meeting, and I'll call the meeting to order. Well, I guess, do we have a member of the public here or anybody that would like to speak? We want to offer the chance to make public comments before we make a business decision.
Yeah, Dr. Bozeman has picked up the sign-up sheet, and we do not have anybody. Mr. Stinner?
All righty. Dr. Roberts, we can move on to item 1A, please.
Okay, well, thank you for being able to accommodate this request. It is the same resolution we have asked for the last couple of years. Just a few years ago, our legislators in Indiana passed HB 1003, House Bill 1003, which allowed schools to apply for a waiver for a variety of reasons. Those reasons are included in this particular resolution to improve student performance and outcomes, to offer the school flexibility in the administration of educational programs or improve the efficiency of school operations, to promote innovative educational approaches to student learning, and or to advance the mission or purpose of the school or group of schools. Our application to the state of Indiana, which is then, we hope, is approved by the State Board of Education, has been to offer 4 full-day professional development days within our corporation. The reason for asking for that is it gives us the opportunity to get 2,000 staff members together and align on working on the direction of our strategic plan. We have now had a full year of professional development days like that, and previously in the 21-22 school year had 2 of those. We were able to get things approved and then ready for the second semester. So we have now had 6 professional development days of which to draw from in terms of advancing our strategic plan, and that would be a part of our application. When completing the JOT form application that the Indiana Department of Education asks for, they do require the submission of a board-signed resolution. So the resolution that you have in front of you is one that's authorizing the performance-based accreditation waiver, and it gets into citing Indiana code that allows us to submit this application, gives the reasons that I indicated, indicates that we desire to submit a waiver application to the state board in accordance with Indiana code, indicates the adoption of this resolution is necessary, and would indicate, if you are so inclined, that it states that the governing body desires to authorize the school administration to timely take all appropriate and necessary action to submit a waiver application to the state board. And then the last piece of the waiver, the governing board authorizes the superintendent and designees to take all appropriate necessary action to submit a waiver. The waiver application contents must be consistent with communications between school administration and the governing body president or the governing body president's designee. Again, this wording comes from Indiana Code, and as indicated, our waiver would be about the professional development days. Not too long ago, you approved a calendar that had those professional development days in them, and one of the requests for change we made was to move the Thursday prior to Good Friday to take a professional development day from there and instead move it to the total eclipse day that will be on Monday, April the 8th. So our calendar right now reflects those days, but we annually have to request approval. We have asked for multi-years worth of approval. The State Board of Education is not willing to do that yet. So it is an annual request that we make. So this is an annual request to you that I'm asking for this resolution to be approved.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Board members, you've heard the superintendent's request. Before we get to questions and discussion, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the resolution authorizing performance-based accreditation waiver for professional development as presented by Dr. Roberts.
Motion by Mr. Grimes. Is there a second for Mr. Grimes' motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Schulz, thank you. Dr. Roberts, what's the timeline here? When would the application be finished and submitted to the state?
And we would submit our finished application, which you'll get a copy of, by June 2nd, and then the State Board of Education would either review that in June or July, based upon the Department of Education clearing it for them and providing it to them. Again, ours has been one that we've done a couple of times. I'm not anticipating any challenges. Last year they had follow-up questions. We provided those. And a reminder to this and to anybody who's paying attention, the reason the State Board has allowed us to do these days, so in effect we are going 176 days instead of 180, then 4 days of professional development, where those are not e-learning days. Students are home without being required to do any additional activities or homework or whatever the case might be, is because the number of minutes or hours that we go per day is already in excess of the minimum number of hours that's required by state statute. So when you take that and the fact that it's done every day for 176 days in this case, it gives us plenty of wiggle room to be allowed those days. And so that's, we provide the math to the State Board of Education as to how that works out, and again, I've not had any challenges thus far.
Other questions? Dr. Roberts, would we, is it like 100 pages or 2 pages?
No.
What's the application?
Yeah, the job form is relatively short. It is a handful of pages, less than 5.
Would board members want to review that before it's submitted, or would we see it after it's submitted?
It's not required in terms of approval to go to them, but I can certainly provide you with a copy.
That'd be great. Any other questions or discussion? Is the board ready for a vote? It's been moved and seconded that we authorize the performance-based accreditation waiver as we've been presented by Dr. Roberts. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Oh, sure.
Because we're participating electronically, you have to take a roll call vote.
Do a roll call vote.
Thanks, Mr. McCarver.
Thank you. I can do that. We'll start with Mr. Nowlin, please. Do you vote aye or nay?
Aye.
Mr. Nowlin votes aye. Mr. Schulz, do you vote aye or nay?
Aye.
Mr. Schulz votes aye. Mr. Grimes, do you vote aye or nay?
Aye.
Mr. Grimes votes aye. Mr. Major, do you vote aye or nay?
Aye.
Mr. Major votes aye. Mr. Bryant, do you vote aye or nay?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant votes aye. Ms. Wielden, would you vote aye or nay?
Aye.
Ms. Wielden votes aye, and the chair votes aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you for that. I will complete the application and make sure you see that copy before it's submitted to the Indiana Department of Education, which reviews it and then sends it to the State Board of Education.
That sounds great. Dr. Roberts, is there any other business to come before the board today?
There is not.
There being no further business, I do declare this meeting adjourned.